To stop caring about themselves, to put everyone in front of them.
So by selling out on themselves personally, like you were talking about earlier, like you can tell someone's a caregiver or caretaker based on even how they present themselves physically.
It's true.
By whether they choose to dress themselves. Because it is interesting that there are certain moms.
Yeah.
Continuing on that vein, there are certain moms that put themselves together and dress themselves and put on some makeup and at least put some clothes on.
Yeah.
There are other moms who just slap on some sweats and hair in a ponytail and, grab their giant purse and just walk out and dragging kids behind them, and everything is like dragging their feet.
And the kids look worse.
Okay, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And so at some point that woman chose that, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
She stopped giving to herself, put everyone first, and her well ran dry.
Yeah.
And now as a result, her kids are experiencing a caretaker.
Yes.
And they're going to grow up to be
caretakers.
Takers. Mm-hmm. It's so true. Because we train people how to be. And
I mean, look at that lesson right there. What is that mom teaching those kids what love is? Sacrifice.
Yes, it's a chore.
Yeah. My mom did this and she loved me and she gave up everything for me. Why don't you do that for me?
She didn't put on makeup and she never wore and why should I have to do those things? Because my mom never did.
Yeah.
I could just hear that conversation down the road where
if you really loved me, you would do this for me.
Right. You wouldn't care what I dressed like or what I wore because you'd know that I give so much all the time and that I shouldn't have to dress up. And hello, looking nice is to honor you and your body.
Yeah.
It's so true, though, that it always does come back to us as individuals. We are, first and foremost, caregivers or takers of ourselves.
Yes.
We either are giving to ourselves and thus that give flows through us to others, or we're taking from ourselves and that take flows through us and to others. Mm-hmm. And it really does come down to, are we taking time to honor ourselves? And, I know that the schedule of people gets insane, crazy insane, where the idea of getting up, getting well dressed, because you are definitely someone who you give for yourself.
Yes.
Like to my exasperation sometimes that I'll say, hey, come on, let's go do this. And you are not ready. Mm-hmm. Okay. You have not done your hair or put on your makeup or put on clothes. And you can't do anything spontaneously. Like, you having a spontaneous life has come at the cost of you honoring you. So that when you walk out of that house, you know that everything about you represents the beautiful, powerful, passionate woman that you are.
Right.
And it's not that I don't get that this comes easy so much as it is a priority to you.
Yes, it is very much.
To look this good and look this way. And I don't know what it would be like if you had kids. Because I'm sure there are people listening to this right now saying, oh, it's all fine and good to spend an hour and a half doing your hair and your makeup, and without distraction, it takes an hour and a half to do this. Versus kids running around and screaming hysterically. And I suppose that your presentation would modify. Yeah. But you would still insist on looking in a way that represents who you are.
Right.
Because I guarantee that I've seen women walking around in sweatpants and da-da-da-da, and you ask them, well, what do you believe your apparel says about you?
Right.
And they'll say, oh, well, I don't care. I don't care what other people think about me. I'm not really that into fashion. That is a lie.
It is. That's
totally
a lie
that people have told themselves to make it okay to sell out.
Yes. And those are those same people that pray that they don't run to someone they know.
Yep, exactly. Because if you really didn't care, you wouldn't care if you ran into someone you know.
Yep. Or
so true.
Or they dart behind another aisle. I've had women tell me that all the time. Oh, I saw you the other day at the store. I'm like, well, why didn't you stop and say hi? Oh, because I look like crap.
Then why'd you leave the house?
Yeah.
If you don't want to be seen, don't leave the house.
Or have your picture taken, end up on an email somewhere.
Exactly. The crazy people at Walmart.
Yeah.
So I guess the real thing is, all right, so this is not, by the way, listeners and viewers, this is not women alone.
No.
Men are the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, we as a society have conditioned men to not even care about what they're wearing or what they look like. And the fact that men are the biggest perpetrators of their outward physical appearance in no way represents their inner magnificence and beauty at all. Where they're wearing the oversized shirts and the oversized pants, and it's hanging down over their ass,
or they have baggy elephant butt on the
right
pants,
on their pants
yep.
and their shoes. They wear one pair of shoes all the time, and in no way does that represent.
All right.
And so then again, what lesson are we teaching people about ourselves? What decisions do people make about us? And let's say we go in for a job interview, or we're being seen for something. And the assumption is that we are not caregivers to ourselves. That people don't even know what it is about that person, but they know they don't want to hire them. Mm-hmm. They know they don't want that person working in that job because they know that ultimately it's going to be a mess. Because I can't guarantee this, but it's my assumption that in like the hospital and what have you, when people come and interview, they are not spent. Their well is not empty then.
Right.
And they're being hired as caregivers.
Yes.
Because that's the energy that they're bringing. That I love to serve people. I love the healthcare industry, da-da-da-da. And somewhere along the line, they just give up and become takers. And teach us as people observing it about them and what they value and what's important to them. And ultimately, that selling out of themselves starts rippling out into every part of their life.
And I just had a terrifying thought. Those caregivers are there with the sickest people on earth and taking from them.
It's true. They're not nurturing them.
No.
They are sucking from them.
The very life force that they're wanting to gain.
That is terrifying. But what about kids?
Yeah.
What about mom and dad in their caregiving and caretaking?
Yeah, it's true.
Are they sucking the life out of their children?
I watch it every day.
Me too. That here you've got a beautiful, innocent child who is a giver by design, being taught to be a taker.
Yeah.
By selling out. I look at, the people who are caretakers. And next thing you know, it's not just their job that they're selling out on or their clothes. It's where they live.
Yeah.
It's how they interact with their family, with their neighbors. And next thing you know, they are living in a war zone of their life, where everything is a battle, where there is no peace. They are takers. And they're perpetrating that on others.
And they wonder why their life is so hard.
They do.
Why is life a struggle?
It's interesting because we get, feedback and comment through our Facebook page, through our Twitter, of people saying how their life has changed by looking at it differently. Even just by having engaged in a conversation like this, they see things differently in their lives. And if there's one thing I would love our listeners and viewers to take away from this is, are you a giver or a taker of care?
Yep.
Are you outwardly giving service because it truly fills you up by giving? Because you've given to yourself and you can now give to others? Or is everything you do draining? That at the end of the day, you plop into bed dreading the fact that you've got to do it all over tomorrow. And that 8 hours of sleep is not enough to recharge the taker batteries. Because believe it or not, sleeping, caregiving to yourself.
It is.
It is part of the caregiving process to yourself. Just like taking a shower, wearing deodorant, brushing your hair, getting a haircut, shaving, all those things are caregiving.
Yes. And once again, that's what a lot of healthcare givers, they lack sleep because they work these god-awful hours. And, they come home, get up at 4 a.m. to work a 12-hour shift, come home and do it all over again with their kids, their spouse, all that.
So who in the hospital business or in the workforce is saying, I cannot continue to be a caregiver if you don't give me time to give to myself? I mean, who made it okay to have back-to-back 40-hour, shifts? Or, who made that okay? Who in the caregiving industry has completely got their head up their ass such that these are the results? Because